Alright, let's look at a very common thing done here inside of Photoshop, and that is flattening your layers, because as good as it is to keep all of your layers in an editable state, at times it just gets to be to the point where there's just too many layers and you want to flatten them because it just makes it easier to work. So the real easy way to just flatten everything is just go to the layer palette menu here. Click on that little pop-out arrow right over here in the top right side, go all the way down to flatten image, and that flattens everything inside the photo. However, that's not always what you want to do. Sometimes it's good to just flatten certain layers as you're working on them, okay? You'll just know that you're not going to be making any more changes to a certain part of the photo, so it's okay to flatten them. So here's what you can do. I'm going to go down, scroll down here to the bottom of the layers palette and take a look at a couple of the layers here. First I've got the photo of the plate, and then I've got this photo in the background here, the colored photo in the background with the green kind of spotlight on it. And then above that I've got this darker area that's got my logo on top of it. Well, at this point I know that I'm not going to be changing these three layers. However, you know, at some point I might want to do something different with them. So I want to flatten, but I don't want to flatten. So here's what you can do to make life easier on yourself. I'm going to just put my cursor on the topmost layer here, alright? And not the top of the layers palette, but the topmost layer of the three that I'm working on. And then I'm going to do a keyboard shortcut that a lot of people don't know exists. And it is, on the Mac, it's, get ready for it, it's Command, Option, Shift, and then the letter E. On the PC, it's Control, Alt, Shift, and the letter E. Okay, and watch what happens when I press it. I'm going to press it now. And take a look at what it does here. See what it did? Is it created a flattened version of all three of those layers on top of that one layer that I had selected here. Alright, so I'm saying take everything that's below here and flatten it, duplicate it up onto its own layer. Alright, so now if I were to hide all three of these layers, nothing changes because I still have this one layer that's got everything on it. Okay, so the keyboard shortcut is called Stamp Visible. Alright, but a lot of people don't know about it. You know, I gotta tell you, I mean, it's not one of those things that you would normally think of. It's not listed in the menu either, so you might not find it, but it's a really cool keyboard shortcut because it lets you flatten without flattening. Alright, it just makes it easier to work because now this is my background. I don't have to worry about all those other layers, but I know that should I come back to them one day, should I come back to the point where I do need to adjust something, I know that these layers are here and I can still get to them, but for all intents and purposes, this is now my background layer, this layer 3 here, and it has everything stamped onto it. Alright, so if you want to know it one more time, the keyboard shortcut, Command, Option, Shift, and then the letter E. On the PC, it's Control, Alt, Shift, and the letter E, and it's called Stamp Visible. Probably one of my favorite keyboard shortcuts here inside of Photoshop. I use it just about every time that I'm actually working on my photos here inside of Photoshop.